ताड़ लो जितना ताड़ना है, मेहनत से बनाई है.
Yeah, no objection taken at all. I think I've been. I showed up to meet Mohit for Ashquie in flip-flops and shorts, and that's what got me the part, guys.
Sometimes it was.
It's the balance between not doing too much, because at the end of the day, while your body needs to look good, your face can't be out of whack, right?
My ex broke up with me because he thought that if I ever meet you, I'll run away with you.
Hello guys. I am so excited. Oh my God, it's a full house and there are people up there as well, which is just wonderful. Thank you all. Thank you for coming out. And I'm so sorry we're starting late, but we hope to make it up to you with an evening of intriguing conversation, because our guest tonight is an intriguing actor. He's an actor with a very singular journey. The two words I hear about him most often used to describe him are hot and laid back. But I'm hoping that we're going to get a little bit underneath those two words. So please put your hands together for Aditya Kapoor.
Hi guys. Hi. What's up, guys? Oh, that's Janu. Who said what? Janu. What's up, guys? Sorry to keep you waiting. It's just the Bombay traffic, the soul sucking. Yeah, I have a quarter in my pocket.
Guys, we'll start? Yes? So, I'm going to start, Aditya, by just getting all the chatter about the hotness out of the way.
Okay.
Okay, because I feel that's essential. Then we can move on to...
The elephant in the room.
The elephant in the room. Right. So it's all about, and you know this, the conversation is so much about how many abs does he have, and this thing about him being so distractingly good looking.
Right now, none. But sorry.
Right now, none.
Right now,
no.
none.
But there is also the narrative of you being distractingly good looking, which I think Film Companion might have started, because I think that was a headline of our review of the Night Manager. So I have to ask you this: like, do you feel objectified? Or do you belong to the school of Rocky Randhawa where, she says, I'm sorry for objectifying, and he says, no objection taken. Taad lo jitna taadna hai, mehnat se banai hai.
Yeah, no objection taken at all. I think I've been... I started off as a VJ with Channel V, and I was well into being objectified. My first promo introducing VJ Aditya was me taking my shirt off at Agonda Beach in Goa. So
no way.
Yeah, so that has been happening since the start of my career, and it's fun. It's fine. Yeah, I mean it's part of it. I guess it's a visual medium, and if one can tick that box, then it's a good thing.
Yeah, well, there's no downside, right?
There isn't really, honestly.
Yeah. But I remember speaking to John Abraham like a couple of years ago, and he was telling me how for at least some 10 or 15 years, he said, I have not had, I can't remember, it was either a jalebi or a samosa. Kaju katli pop, maybe that too, right? And I said to him, but John, that just sounds like a miserable way to live.
Yes.
And he said, no. He said that when I look at myself, I am so proud and I'm so happy that it doesn't matter. So is that how it works in this life of extreme looks?
Not for me.
No.
I love my food, and I can't really do without it. So I do it on a project-to-project basis. So if I have to get fit, then I know I have 3-4 months to get into that crazy zone where I can't cheat and stuff like that. But otherwise, I kind of pretty much... I need to eat every now and then. Like I can't plan a cheat meal for a Sunday. It's like soul-sucking to have to plan what I'm going to eat 1 week down the road. It's very sad to me. So yeah, I do it when I need to get in shape, but otherwise I try and live a kind of a normal life. Yeah.
Really?
I do. Well,
So the abs come and go.
Abs come and go. They right now do not exist.
So no demands for any shirtless situations, guys.
Definitely not. I'll show you my old pictures that I keep staring at every now and then for inspiration.
And you can do this. This is part of your prep. That I will just transform physically and then I'll go back to being who I am.
Because I feel like every character has its own physicality that you have to achieve, and even within that physique, if you have to have a physique, not every physique should be the same.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you need to be bigger, sometimes you need to be leaner. So horses for courses, and you know, every time I have a role, then I try and chalk out what I need to be. I did a film called Dawat-e-Ishq where I got really fat during the shooting of the film. So it can go the other way, yeah. I really enjoyed those kebabs in Lucknow. So, yeah. As you can see through the film, my continuity changes. Like I'm like fat, thin. It's not very.
So, Aditya, I was talking about your singular career.
Right.
And I don't know, like I was trying to think of who else has had this kind of trajectory. It's really unique. You know, you start out with supporting roles in 2009.
Yeah.
So you've been an actor now for almost 15 years.
Yeah.
And you do have, from the supporting roles, you go to a solo hero, you have the hits, you have the misses. And now, with a streaming show, it feels like everything has fallen into place.
Right.
Right? Which is, and look at this, the staying power over 15 years. That's a long time.
Yeah.
You know, that's a long time. Now, when you were in those, and they were fairly big projects. There was Fitur, and there was Rashtra Kavach, and there was OK Janu, right?
Yeah.
All these films that didn't hit, right? At that point, or any time through these 15 years, did you ever feel that it's just not going to happen for me?
I think you have to try and not allow those thoughts to creep in too much. They could. There are moments in time where you know they could creep in, especially on the well, not on the Friday. I think these thoughts tend to surface by Sunday on a bad weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you have to just stave them off and feel like you're going to live to fight another day. I started off my career also with the 2-3 films that I did. Those also didn't do well. Yeah. So I was kind of already kind of well versed with that sensation, and I kind of, it was jarring for me. For my first film, I kind of didn't do well. It's not like there was any pressure on my shoulders, but I got to kind of deal with that early on, and yeah, it creeps in, but you just knock it off and go back to work, and yeah.
But when it happens consistently also, you never gave in.
No, well, evidently not. I'm here on the Film Companion doing this interview. No, I mean, there's been moments of time where I haven't worked for extended periods.
How long?
I haven't. At one time, I didn't go onto a movie set for 2 years.
No way.
Yeah, after OK Janu. I mean, some of these are self-imposed sabbaticals where work was coming my way, but
you didn't like anything.
I didn't like anything, and it ended up, being a long period of time. So I kind of, the day I walked onto the Kalank set was exactly 2 days to the year that I hadn't shot. So yeah, those periods can be trying, but there has to be some sort of internal kind of belief to know that, it all comes and goes, and it'll happen.
But what is this internal belief? Because you talked about how the business is where one day it's a feast, one day it's a famine.
Yeah.
And you have no way to predict what the day is, right? So what is the internal mechanism for just being very kind of slightly detached from all of this?
Well, I might put it down to having other interests. I didn't grow up wanting to be an actor. I'm an accidental actor of sorts. I kind of grew up while my brothers were on stage, and the arts were always there at home. I was the one that was playing sports, and even when I did my first film, it wasn't a launch. I kind of did it because I got to go to London and play a guitarist. I was like, this will be cool. I stumbled into it, So no
burning ambition.
So it wasn't a burning ambition to become an actor. Obviously, once I started working, I fell in love with it, and it gave my life a lot of meaning, and I became very passionate about it. But I did have other interests, and I think those things can, if you can find meaning from other things as well, it can keep you going through times like that.
Yeah. And so when you did this falling in love as you do it, right? It's like an arranged marriage, isn't it?
I guess so.
In a sense, like you became an actor and then slowly fell in love. When did you find this love happening?
I don't know if I can pinpoint it to a particular moment, but I just remember.
Is it with the first film itself?
The first film was a lot of fun. It was just great fun. We had a great time. I guess it was incremental. But I remember Guzarish was I think the third film I did. I remember that being a really overwhelming experience for me. Having spent so much time every day on set, you know, I found myself getting really emotional about having to leave that project behind, and you know, I felt really close to that character and close to that process. So I think that was a moment where I felt like on that film, by the end of that film, I felt like, yeah, this is something. You know, every film is its little journey, takes you away from your, you know, from mundane life. It can be an escape, and I found that to be something that I really was drawn to.
And you, of course, also had the massive hits. You had Ashquie 2, Ye Jawani Hai Deewani. But I feel like the conversation, Aditya, around you has changed after The Night Manager. Do you have a sense that you're being seen differently in terms of as a leading man?
You know, this is a question I've been asked a lot. You know, after The Night Manager, a lot of people have been asking me whether I feel like I'm being looked at differently. I really don't know, honestly. Maybe. I guess it's a show that kind of really resonated and a character that a lot of people have appreciated. But maybe you can answer that question. I don't know if people are looking at me differently.
Because I feel like the noise and the buzz around you is a lot more intense, right, guys? Yeah.
Only after The Night Manager. I was joking, Guitar. Yeah, there was a guitar in that also. But yeah, I think it has in some ways. It was a role that got me to do a tone that I hadn't gotten the chance to do before theatrically, I think. It was just a different kind of material that I felt really easy and comfortable in. Maybe that's what connected with people.
So are you sort of looking, do you have more choices now? Are you seeing more scripts? Are they trying to sort of cast you differently, or is it versions of?
A couple of spies have come along after The Night Manager. But I guess the trap to fall into would be to try and now repeat the same thing again, right? I don't think it would be wise to try and play another spy right off the bat. But yeah, I think there are lots of interesting things that are there. A lot more things for platforms that are also coming my way, which is also a great whole, well, not new anymore, but a lovely new avenue for actors to explore. So yeah, there is a lot of interesting stuff, and trying to figure what like is exciting. How
do you decide, Aditya? Is there a team that helps you to pick the next project, or is it purely what your instinct is?
I have a team that I speak to. I speak to my brothers. I mean, they're both part of the industry, and their perspective is, you know, something I've always taken into account. I try and listen to my gut, you know, always though. I mean, you don't want to ask too many people, because I mean, too many cooks can spoil the broth, so to speak. So
though Sid is one of the wisest men.
He is. So it's good to listen.
Sid is older brother.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is. I think he just brings so much.
He is a very sound counsel. Yes.
So where does this laid back tag come from?
The laid back tag, maybe because I wear like loose clothes. I used to ride an Enfield. I was still wearing shorts after Ashquie, and like.
What is the shorts thing? You apparently, that is your preferred outfit.
It is my preferred attire. It's just shorts are not comfortable. Yeah, no, but I've started wearing shoes and pants. Maybe the way I dressed. I guess.
When did you start? I love this. I started wearing shoes and pants. When did this happen?
No, no, I've been wearing shoes and pants ever since. I mean, I think that laid back, I don't know why people think, they think I'm also laid back with my work. I guess I give off this feeling like I am laid back, but it's very different. I mean, I treat my work very, very differently. But maybe it's my dressing. I think it is.
It is the shorts.
The flip-flops, yeah. It's got that. Your walk is different in the flip-flops.
So you would take like story meetings and business meetings in flip-flops and shorts?
Absolutely. How am I going to judge it any different? I showed up to meet Mohit for Ashquie in flip-flops and shorts, and it was supposed to play a rock star. I didn't know what the role was. I just went for the meet. That's how I was rolling into meetings at the time, and I think that's what got me the part. Because Mohit was like, you know, everyone that would come in to meet me would come in completely decked out and like in their finest. And the character is one that kind of was a star but didn't want to be one and didn't care about how he looked so much. So I guess that's what got me the part, guys.
Sometimes it works. Do you know if you ever lost a part because of flip-flops?
I don't know. I don't know if people would be that honest with me.
Right. So when you're sitting with your team, you've got the brothers' wise counsel, but ultimately it's your gut on who you want to be next. Or is there a strategy in sense of, okay, I've done this in this film and now I need to go here?
I try and not think like that. That more comes from the place where I wouldn't like to repeat something, the same tone again or whatever. But no, I don't necessarily think of it strategically. It's not necessarily just about the part. Sometimes the part can be really exciting, but the story isn't compelling enough, where the character is something you've never done before and it offers you the chance to do something. But I think at the end of the day, the movie has to feel good in
the whole
totality.
Yeah.
So that does happen, and sometimes it's really tough to let go of something because the whole thing doesn't resonate. I've tried to start looking at it more and more like I feel like the story needs to move me. I need to want to really watch this kind of film, and then obviously if the part is something different, then so be it.
I want to talk a little about action sequences because you said that it requires a different skill set.
Yeah.
Like it's a different, literally muscle.
Yeah.
Right? So just take us through what are the beats of an action sequence? You know, at what point do you plug in? Normally, what's the prep? And I have to ask, like, at what point does the director say, and now the shirt will come off? ये भी होता होगा ना? They must be telling you in the...
Yeah, I think so.
In the choreography of it.
Yeah. In the choreography of it. I haven't done that many. I'm not a veteran when it comes to action sequences. I've just done 2 films where I've done action. So I'm.
But pretty solid action.
Yeah. Well, I think rehearsal is imperative. To have enough time to rehearse, I've realized is really, really important. Because then it makes sense because you're kind of saving time on set as well. If you're there and you're trying to learn it, you do, but it's very similar to dance in the sense that you are kind of mimicking,
and each part is perfectly staged. It's like all, you know that this will be the blow, this will be all of it. Yeah,
but the more time you get to do it with repetition, the more you can kind of polish it and make it and sell it, right? And make it look really believable and make sure you're making some crazy expression, because like every now and then you can get really excited and you're like, you watch it on the playback and you're like, you look crazy, your face is distorted. So it's about trying to keep the look, so to speak, as well. And the shirt, I mean, it's the director tells you when it's supposed to come off. On Malang, the shirt was never supposed to come off. I mean, he just said, just tear a shirt, do it. I was like, yeah, okay, and it just happened, and then it turned out to be like it was in the trailer. It was planned before.
and when it is planned before, like, you know, X, Y, Z will happen, iske baad the shirt comes off.
Yeah, right? And that I did know.
Yeah. So how do you, like, I don't know, I've heard all these kind of crazy stories about people stop drinking water all of that. Like,
Yeah.
what is that?
Don't try this at home. It's, yeah, I mean,
But क्या होता है?
you're essentially trying to deplete like the water in your body, so you look kind of sharper.
Leaner.
Leaner,
Yeah, yeah.
So there are a few days before you shoot the scene where you start cutting down salt, because I think you have some water retention if you have too much salt in your diet. And on the day of shoot also, you have to really drink very little bit of water. There's a science to it, and I mean, I have not perfected it. There are other actors who I think have done that, but it can be really taxing, because you're essentially on no salt, and after 4-5 days you get a little bit zony with that.
Right.
You're on less carbs, which is like where you get all your energy from, and no water in the desert sun, and you're supposed to give an expression every now and then, and you look back in the monitor and. So it's the balance between not doing too much, because at the end of the day, while your body needs to look good, your face can't be out of whack, right? It
Yeah.
needs to look presentable. So it's the tightrope.
It's a great abs. Not sure what's happening with the
Abs अच्छा शक्ल को क्या हो गया उसका? Not ideal.
But it's obviously so much work.
It is. It really is a lot of work. I mean, the work starts like 4-5 months before. On home, it was tough because I had to learn action and body build. And when you do a lot of action, it's like the muscle comes off your body. So essentially building it, and then you're doing action rehearsals and it's coming off, and it's pretty taxing. But
And how do you, in the middle of all of this, keep your eye on the actual acting?
I mean, that's the most important thing. I mean, you have to throw it all away and stop thinking about your body and just be like, now this is what it is. And that also takes some time. Like on my first film, I remember on Fitu, I felt like I was a little, it took me a little time to kind of forget that now it's not about the body anymore. And that helped me with my experiences on Malang and Om, where it's like now the prep is done, now just play the scene. You can't be thinking about your angles, and then your head's not in it. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's very important.
But that is something you've had to work through.
Yeah, I mean, the first time you do something and you've spent 6 months, like, working on your body, you're like sitting there and like, no, but you're conscious of it. It takes experience to try and get over that and be like, yeah, that's done now.
Yeah, yeah. You also, Aditya, many of your interviews talk about disconnecting, recharging, and going back. So what is this disconnecting? What do you actually do, and how does it help you to be a better actor when you go back?
I think I find when I'm working, and I've had really intense phases of but I'm really working a lot as well. I've done juggling between 3 films, like every actor does. But I find that after an intensely long period of that, your work could suffer. I find that there's a spillover. I start acting in real life. Like I'm pulling faces. I'm like,
really?
Yeah, I find that there's a spillover almost. Where whichever character, where I'm like, it's important to stop as well and just try and just be yourself, and try and, I mean, even disconnect from the just surveillance state, which is Bandra with the PAPs, and like get out of the mix, every now and then. Sometimes it's like you do nothing. I feel like doing nothing is equally important.
You just let your mind rest.
We're so geared to feeling like we need to do something all the time, and we have the curse of this thing in our pocket which never allows you to feel boredom. I find that I try and create a place where I'm not being the public persona all the time.
So you plan this, like, let's say if you have like a long shoot, then you will give yourself time off?
No, I haven't done that. It just has happened like that. I find that I try and fight for prep time though. I feel like that's something when you're really busy, it's important to kind of fight for, because I know that I really need, I like that time, and that's part of the fun of the process for me. To have that time with that script and spend time with the director and really be able to like thrash it out and come at it from all the angles. And I feel like if I don't have that, I'm not feeling like I've done all my work. So I feel like finding that time to properly prep is something that I kind of fight for.
And do you do, like a lot of actors talk about doing workshops and stuff, do you do any of that?
Well, I don't. I have on a couple of films which help me. They can
but
help.
It's not like a regular thing.
It's not a regular thing. Sometimes doing a workshop with a bunch of your co-stars can, if not anything else, just break the ice, and that can translate. It's not that the workshop is necessarily something where you do the scenes.
It's just finding your comfort.
Finding your comfort. Well, that's what happened on Ashquie, where we did a workshop, and I don't know how much the workshop, the acting part of it helped, but the ice was broken. And on day one, we were kind of already, we had all hit it off. But yeah, workshops can help. I think the beauty of it is every part requires a different approach, and try and figure out what would be best for you.
So what kind of an actor are you, Aditya? Are you somebody who will, people talk about switch on, switch off. The legend, of course, being Sridevi, who could just, be just sitting quietly and then get in front of the camera and just be all kinds of magic? Or do you need to kind of cultivate a certain headspace for you to get into character?
I think it's a mix for different characters. I find that earlier I used to spend a lot of time on set when I was much younger, kind of dissipating my energy, chatting with people and just being excited about being there. But I found that can really take away from your concentration. It can kind of get you to start behaving a lot like yourself, and then to kind of take all those things out and come back into a shot on certain characters can be tough. But if you're doing a lighter film and you're just supposed to be easy and play something closer to yourself, then sometimes it can help to kind of be sitting around with your co-stars and joking, and that can translate.
Energy, right?
But I think with moods, I think it's nice, I think, for me to stay in them. And for certain characters to kind of not really interact too much if I need to just like be separate from what I am.
And this time then when you do disconnect, this could just be you doing actually nothing.
There can be days of that. I mean, I like to do a bunch of things. I have other interests, like I play sport, I travel.
So cinema is not like your obsession.
I have phases. I mean, for being an actor, I don't watch that many films actually. It's been a few years where I don't watch that many movies. I used to, growing up, I watched a lot. When I first started acting, I used to watch a lot. But now I find myself not watching that many movies. Yeah. I watch other stuff. I mean, YouTube is like the best invention of all time. You can just like go down rabbit holes and like, you have, it's priceless stuff. So yeah, I don't watch that many films, which is not a good thing. I'm not like proud of it. I love movies, but I go through phases. I go through phases.
And are you, so you're not, when you're not watching a lot of, let's say, recent releases or whatever, are you at all invested in the business of it, in the successes and the failures, in the whole sort of surround sound of showbiz?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think one can't be too disconnected because it's something that you have to be invested in if you kind of are serious about it. I'm obviously aware of everything that's happening, and I try and watch, films, different types of films that are doing well to get a sense of the lay of the land, because eventually you want to see what work people are doing, if paths cross, and so on and so forth. So I'm not that disconnected, but I'm not tracking it on a day-to-day basis.
You're not Arjun Kapoor.
No, Arjun's another league.
Yeah, Arjun's another league.
Arjun's another league.
Yeah, like you give him a Friday and he'll tell you what released, in which year, and it's just nuts.
Yeah, you speak to me, he knows more about my life than I do sometimes. You came back from there. I said, how did you know I went there? He's too good.
And I remember when you, Aditya, got onto Instagram, there was this whole thing of, oh my God, he's finally on some social media. Yeah. Right? So was that, how long ago was that? A couple of years?
That was 3 years ago.
3 years, right?
Yeah,
but it was a big deal. I remember it was, like people talked about it. So did you, Aditya, give in because as an actor, it is now part of the job is to be on IG, or was it intrinsically interesting for you?
A little bit of that, but I think it was peer pressure. It was just like everyone was like, you have to, and for the longest time I didn't even have the app on my phone. If I wanted to go to someone's Instagram account, I would like go on the browser. And I'm quite technologically challenged, as you all might have deduced by now. But yeah, eventually I kind of the dam broke, and I was at the gym, and these two friends that I met at the juice bar said, just get on it, yeah, it's nothing, Adi, I'm telling you, and no one even has to know. And I somehow got convinced at the moment, and I just joined then and there, and I haven't looked back since. No, I am useless. I mean, I don't post. I'm like, I for the first couple of months I was regular, and I was putting up stories, and people were like, yeah, Adi, you've taken to it, and I could not sustain it.
Really?
No.
So you're a failed Instagrammer.
I mean, I post once in 3 months is my average. Maybe 2 months. When I have a release and I'm out in the world, I tend to post more, but it's more from my film stuff. Yeah.
And your team is not telling you ki kuch karo, please.
They've given up. They don't. They're like, that's off the table anymore. When we're having meetings and all, it's like it's the unsaid thing. Say, Adi, but Instagram, just once a week if you post. Once a week, just put something. And I'm like, what? Like, what am I going to do, you know? No.
So you have no urge to share nuggets of your life?
No, I don't really. I haven't. I share songs on my stories every now and then, random songs. Once in a while I'll share something, but it doesn't come, it's not become a part of my process, like thought process when I'm out or I'm doing something. It's just not. I check Instagram often, I'm on it, I just don't post. Yes, no, should I, guys? Arey, but what? What I'm eating?
Anything.
Check my reels.
So clearly you're not also then buying into the pressure of how many followers does so-and-so have, how many does so-and-so have. You know, that level of competition which also exists.
That does exist. That exists. Yeah. But I think what it is what I've heard is that if you post often, then the algorithm works that way. So you have to be regular.
Exactly.
But I haven't. So
this is where the laid back comes in. It's not just the shorts.
It's not just the shorts.
Yeah.
It's the Instagram. It's the way I've handled my Instagram. Yeah, you found one more thing. My mind just doesn't go there. It's not for me. It's not for me, guys.
You know what I found very intriguing was the fact that you spent some time watching a lot of Dilip Kumar films.
I did.
And what did you take away? Which ones did you like?
I mean, I was blown away. Obviously, I was extremely late to the party, but I was prepping for Kalank, and I just felt like I was doing a bunch of different things to get a sense of things I was trying to make sense of. And I went down this rabbit hole, and it was just amazing. I mean, the greatest, right? So
the greatest.
And so smooth, and he had everything in him.
Yeah.
So I was completely in awe, and obviously it's inspiring to see great work. And the one that Andaz is,
yes,
that one really stayed with me. That was a great one.
Yeah. Did you watch Mughal-e-Azam?
I did. I saw a bunch.
You saw
a bunch, yeah.
Because that, you know, that's one of like the things that I feel like, and it's true for every generation. You know, people, you just don't watch those movies, and you kind of. But I feel like there is a canon of Indian cinema that all of us should be watching.
Should be watching.
You know?
Yeah.
Just in terms of even to see what the trends were and a certain style of acting, though he was like the great who, of course, Amit ji learned from, and then every successive...
And he was doing Method before Method was Method.
Yeah. He was the OG.
He was the OG, yeah?
Yeah, so, absolutely. Where else do you find inspiration as an actor?
I mean, most times you're inspired by the text and by the director or his vision. That's what ends up inspiring you, by the material. Obviously, watching great work from your contemporaries or from any great work, inspires you to do better. But otherwise, when you're prepping for a part, then anything can inspire you, because you're trying to cobble together different things. Once you have something to then kind of work towards, then you're looking for little nuggets everywhere.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I guess inspiration just comes from watching great work and stuff like that.
And I've heard a lot of actors say that they're constantly observing. Are you one of those?
I don't know if I think of it consciously. I don't know if I'm consciously observing. I don't find myself, I don't sit and try and pick up mannerisms, but I would like to think I'm observant, and
It's just coming in.
Yeah, it's just coming in. And
You're
it's
imbibing.
somewhere. Yeah, it's going into the vault.
Right.
I guess that if you're kind of present and you're giving everything to every interaction you're having, I guess it would then go in.
Yeah, something connects.
Yeah.
You're working again with Anurag Basu.
Yes.
Who I find one of the most sort of intriguing and unpredictable filmmakers that we have. And he just does the loveliest things, which are just so out of the box. What can you tell us about Metro in Dino?
Well, I know as much as you know. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Yeah, if I tell you, I'll have to kill you.
I guess that's one of the things with Basu, is that he keeps you on your toes by not giving you very much information.
Huh.
I mean, I know the graph of my story. I don't know the detailed story beats. I've shot only 4 days as of now. But I think the beautiful thing with him is every day is, like you said, unpredictable. I think he wants to keep you a little bit off kilter, where you come on set and you do something that you all both had not kind of preordained. And that can only happen if I think the actor hasn't had too much time to pain over something and plot what they're going to do. So that was one of the beautiful things on Ludo. It took a couple of days to get used to, because you come on set and I normally like to have done all my work. But
there's a bound script or no?
In Ludo's case, there was not. But
really?
But he,
so many characters and still.
Yeah, it was all in his head, but I got the story synopsises of, so I knew what everyone else's track was and my track, but it was a synopsis. It wasn't a dialogue draft. There were indicative dialogues to kind of, so as an actor, you're trying to glean as much as you can from that limited, database.
So the idea is that he'll tell you only this much, so that you take that and sort of create?
No. He spends time with you and he gives you a clear sense of what he's looking at as the character. And there's enough there in that synopsis for you to be able to kind of make sense of it. It's just that the dialogues don't come in.
So they're not written in, you just improvise?
No, they come in the morning. You're doing makeup and the door opens and the guy says, "Garam garam scene aaya sir." Give me the bloody scene and get out.
I love it. Garam garam scene.
Yeah.
That's just fab.
But on big days, the dialogue would come in the night before. So he's not doing this to torture you.
Of course, it's just his process.
Yeah, like I was playing a ventriloquist in the film.
Right.
And there's some really tricky stuff. I kind of had to do a few sequences where it was me and the puppet. So yeah, those scenes he gave me the night before. So that helped. Definitely helped.
But does that, is that nerve-wracking? Because, and I'm asking because I remember having a conversation with Ranveer and Priyanka, who were shooting for Bajirao, and they were saying how in the first couple of days, Priyanka was really thrown because Sanjay also just will, throw out the entire scene, create a new scene, completely change it, and she had learned like 4 pages of dialogue, and she was in tears.
I mean, it can be nerve-wracking, but he is so reassuring as a director and someone who's just a master at his craft, where you feel like you're in such good hands that you feel like he's not going to let you drop. You know, he also sometimes says, "Yaar, aaj acha nahi hua to kal karenge." It's like, it's an attitude where he creates an environment of play, where he doesn't make you feel like the stakes are so high. So he helps you relax, and I think he wants something unpredictable to happen, and he's so in control of every aspect of filmmaking that he's not intimidated by that. He's ready to kind of go with that and say, okay, so then I'll do this, and then we'll do that, and then we'll go there, because he's able to do it on the fly. So you feel like you're in good hands, and that
you just go with it.
You just go with it.
Yeah. Aditya, would you be able to walk up to a director and say, I really want to work with you?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Not that I've done it very often, but yeah, it's absolutely could do that. I have done it. I haven't walked up. I mean, I've messaged someone, but yeah, I would walk up to someone also and say. So,
ऐसे मतलब there's no sort of jijak with that, with asking for something that you want to do. It's not something that I've done that often. Maybe I should do it more often. It's nice for people to feel like you want to work with them. It's important to, I think, let someone know you love their work and that you'd be happy or open to work with them. You think everyone, you know, works so hard and is so sensitive, and all we want is a little bit of appreciation, and it can only be a positive thing. I don't see a downside to it. Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
It's always nice.
Yeah, letting someone know you love their work, and then you'll be happy to throw it around someday. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, one last question before we open it up to the public. There are always aspiring actors, aspiring filmmakers in the audience. I think what's remarkable about you is how you've just kept going.
Yeah.
You know, and just, I understand the philosophy of it, but what is the practicality of it? When you wake up in the morning and you haven't been on a set for 2 years, what do you say to yourself that just keeps you trying and being persistent?
Just have to have the belief that it's going to happen. I mean, the time that I had that phase, I had done enough work to feel like something else. I mean, I don't know what that would feel like when you're just starting off.
Yeah.
But I guess it comes down to the same thing. If you know that this is something you love doing, it's not meant to be easy, any of this. You know, I mean, like, I struggle kiya and all. I mean, you better struggle. It's hard. You have to struggle, you know. I mean, it's like none of this
no prizes for that.
So, I mean, it's a struggle before you start. It's as much of a struggle when you're in the middle of it all. I mean, it's a different kind of struggle. And you have to just keep that belief, like it'll come around, the right thing will come, and then when it does, it'll be fine. Yeah.
How lovely. How lovely. That's fantastic.
Malvika Gulati. Present, sir.
Hi, Aditya. What is that one moment when you realize that you have made it? Like, Night Manager is when we all sort of predicted or the buzz is going around, but what is that moment in your life when you thought, chalo, theek hai, ab ho gaya, now I'm a full-fledged actor and this is going to be the rest of my life and I'm happy to be in it?
I don't know if I've ever really felt like I've made it. I think like making it is a whole other thing. But I guess for me, the film that kind of was a turning point was Ashquie. When that film kind of changed the way my career was going. That was the first time I played the leading man, and that kind of changed stuff for me. So maybe once that film did well, I felt
lovely. Thank you so much.
Patted myself a little bit on the back.
But you've never had a moment when you said, "Yaar, star."
I mean, every now and then.
Hannah?
I mean, it's a really valuable thing to have. Like, just a random person come up to you and appreciate. Like, who gets that, right? I mean, it's something to really value. Like you're out getting a drink with your friend, and someone comes in and says, "I love you and I love your work," and I mean, it can lift your spirits and change everything. And my friend is like, "Bro, no one says that to me." I was like, so it's something to value.
Perks of the job.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. Okay, more?
Sanjukta.
Hi Aditya, so I'm a very big fan of yours, so is everybody here. So I just had one question, which, how do you switch between projects? Like in our normal day-to-day life, we might be having a very bad argument at home, but in office there's like a party and you need to put a face up. Similarly, when you have had done a very intense project which requires emotional investment, how do you come out of it and maybe do a very fun film in 2 months' time, because it takes a toll on your mental health, I'm sure. So how do you, tips for aspiring actors to kind of juggle and take care of their mental health while they do well in the next project as well?
I mean, one has to be really lucky to be able to plan it all out perfectly, where you say, I'll do this, and then I get the chance to do something that's completely opposite. Sometimes it doesn't line up like that. Sometimes it's good to just go with it and feel what you need to feel and let it mess you up a little bit, you know, if you're a young actor. I remember it took me a little time to shake off, you know, the Ashquie role. I didn't realize that at the time. But I became a certain type, you know, after, and I only got perspective on that later, where I felt like, I mean, I was much younger, and those emotions can kind of, you know, spill over. Their emotions.
They stuck on.
Yeah, they did stick on a little while, and I felt like a little bit like I had somewhat changed. Not to sound too, you know, pseudo about it all, but like I did feel like that affected me. And it took some time, but it's great. I mean, maybe it helped with things, right? As you get older, I mean, more experience, you realize that you don't have to stay in that state of mind all the time. You can create an atmosphere at work, which is that, and make the demarcation, but go with it. Like, don't take care of it. Like, you know, feel it for whatever it is, and you'll figure it out. Because, I mean, you're lucky to kind of get so enwrapped in something if you can.
Surely, thank you. We all were in hangover a few after Ashquie 2, I'm sure. We still are.
Sulogna Ghosh. Am I saying all these names correctly? Okay.
It's all women, no?
Guys, you all don't ask me anything.
So before I actually ask you my question, I just want to tell you that you have no idea that I exist, but my ex broke up with me because he thought that if I ever meet you, I'll run away with you.
Oh.
So,
but no fault. Listen, no fault. No fault of my own, huh?
My question to you is, mentally, so far, what has been your toughest role?
Mentally? Toughest role? Honestly, they're all tricky for different reasons. Night Manager was tricky because I guess it was just, I realized that shooting series is a lot, it's like a game of attrition. You know, you're shooting a lot more material in the same amount of time. You're going at a faster clip, but you kind of have to maintain the quality of everything. And also the part was kind of tricky, Night Manager, because there was a lot that was going on in his head that, and the thing to kind of figure out with Sandeep was how much do you want the audience to be let in, because he's showing the audience a certain side, but he's undercover as well. So there were lots of things.
It's like a performance within
a performance,
yeah,
which was kind of tricky. So maybe the last one, the Night Manager, yeah.
Thank you so much.
One more. Nikhil Kumar. Finally.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Sir, my question is that in the movie Ludo, you played ventriloquist. So how you prepared for that character?
As I've already told you, I didn't have the script.
So nothing to prepare?
No, I did. Basu sir is going to kill me after this interview. I actually, for the ventriloquism part, I worked with a ventriloquist. That really helped me to learn the skill. And that's one of the fun parts of the job, right? You get to learn new skills. So I did a few weeks of training to kind of get comfortable with it. It's a beautiful and interesting thing to learn. I don't remember anything right now, but But at the time, I did some classes for ventriloquism.
Does that happen the way you learn something from film and then that actually becomes a part of your life?
Yeah, it can, right? Like you.
I
There
would
are these skills that,
imagine.
I had to learn some magic for Guzarish at the time. I remember one trick out of that.
Really?
I still do that. I've overused that card trick. I think I need to stop doing that trick. But
Ye dekho.
yeah, you learn stuff that stays with you, like even action. There are all these skills that kind of carry on. Yeah. Should I do one more?
Please.
Drashti Morbia. I said it right. Well done. A big hand for me.
Hi.
What's up, Drashti?
Question to you is, if you were ever to direct a film on your life story, whom would you cast for it except for yourself?
Oh.
Biopic?
A biopic? I don't think we're there yet. Yeah, what would the climax be right now? I don't know. I can't even think of it. I think by the time, I don't think I'd ever make a biopic on myself for sure. But if I had to cast for it, any ideas, guys? Who would be? Karthik? I mean, he could, honestly. We'd curl his hair and put some perms and... Karthik could play me. I don't know if it'd be... Sorry? Should be the name. That's a good idea. I'll make a note of it. Guys, help me cast my own movie, please. Ranbir only.
Ranbir?
Or we'll find a newcomer. A debutant.
Rohit
Saraf.
Saraf.
Some good names.
That's a good one. Rohit
Good
Saraf
names.
is a good one. Yeah.
I'll approach Rohit for this.
In and as
In and
Aditya
out,
Roy
Aditya
Kapoor.
How weird this is, guys. Not a good idea. Jim he has a hair. Manan Jain.
सर
बिंदास।
ये जवानी है दीवानी 2 आने वाली है क्या?
What a question.
Should it be made? Okay, so I mean, it seems unanimous. See, I'm not the director of the film. I'm just a lowly actor. So this question should be asked to Mr. Mukherjee and see if he's interested. I'm sure the cast would jump on.
What fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it's something cool. Write a story. What happens next? Avi is happy only. You want him and Kal.
Okay, guys, that's all the time we have. So big thank you, Aditya.